In this video, we are going to discuss some major takeaways from the national education policy that has just been put forward by the government of India. So let's have a look at it. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's me Swastika, and in this video today we are going to quickly go over the National Education Policy 2020 and the impact it is going to have on not just colleges and universities but also at the school level. So firstly, what really struck me about the National Education Policy was that the MPhil program has been completely scrapped. This means that instead of having MPhil, we are now going to jump straight to PhDs and other programs. So this means that instead of having a 3-year undergraduation course like most of us did, if you are someone who is pursuing a certain subject from the perspective of a research orientation, you can simply do a 4-year course from your designated university, jump to a post-graduation which is of 1 or 2 years, and after that jump straight to a PhD instead of having to go through an MPhil. So in other words, this means that if you are somebody who is just looking for a government job, एक सरकारी नौकरी चाहिए आपको, आप research orientation की हिसाब से अपना subject pursue नहीं कर रहे, तो आप सीधा 3 years की डिग्री लेके एग्जिट कर सकते हो. So after that 3 years degree, you will just get a bachelor's certificate that yes, indeed you have completed your 3 years in the university. So this is also a new thing that has been introduced, which makes entry and exit into universities and colleges extremely easy. This means that if I am somebody who just went to college for a year and then I had plans of dropping out for the next 2 years, I don't have to, when I come back to my college, I don't have to start off again with the first year, but I can simply start off with my second year, even after dropping for 2 years. If you're somebody who is just not even interested in getting a degree, you can just do your course for 2 years, get a diploma and get out. So this is how the entry and exit points have been made extremely flexible with this new education policy, and that is something which is completely new because A, they have scrapped MPhil, B, they have made the entry and exit points to be extremely easy, and C, which I'm going to discuss right now, is that earlier we used to have these various commissions and committees, like we had UGC, we had AICTE. So with this new education policy, all of those are going to get scrapped, and there is going to be one umbrella organization which is going to be called Higher Education Commission of India, and this is going to be the umbrella organization. It is going to have 4 verticals which deal with its internal workings and everything, but this is something which is completely new. So this is also happening. The fourth important thing that I felt in terms of higher education and what's happening there is that we are now going to have a national research foundation. This means that funding for research projects will be provided by the government to us, and this is not just for people pursuing science and scientific subjects, but it is also going to be for people who are pursuing social sciences. तो 4 important चीजें usher in हुई है नेशनल एजुकेशन पॉलिसी से. पहला तो ये है कि आपका जो MPhil प्रोग्राम है वो बिल्कुल स्क्रैप करा जा रहा है. सेकेंड चीज ये है कि जो एंट्री एंड एग्जिट पॉइंट्स है अंडर ग्रेजुएशन में वो बहुत ही ज्यादा फ्लेक्सिबल करे जा रहे हैं. मतलब मैं 1 year अपना कोर्स करके 2 साल ड्रॉप करके वापस जब आऊंगी तो मैं सीधा सेकेंड ईयर से स्टार्ट कर सकती हूँ. आई डोंट नीड टू स्टार्ट विद माई फर्स्ट ईयर. The third important thing that is happening is that the courses, if you are pursuing a subject from an academic orientation, are getting extended to a 4-year program. So but if you are somebody who is pursuing a subject from the perspective of कि हमें एक सरकारी नौकरी चाहिए, तो आप 3 साल में अपनी डिग्री लेके यूपीएससी का पेपर दे सकते हो. तो ये बहुत ही नई सी चीज़ है जो अशर इन करी जा रही है। जो थर्ड चीज़ हमने बात करी वो है HECI, हायर एजुकेशन कमीशन ऑफ इंडिया। So this is basically going to be an umbrella organization that is going to take over UGC, AICT and all of these other organizations, and HECI is going to be the umbrella organization which is going to be working in higher education. The last thing that I talked about was a national research foundation. So this basically means that in a country like India, where research is generally, we don't have a lot of research orientation in our like colleges and like all these other places, that by this policy they are trying to push in research. So this basically means that funding is going to be provided for people who are pursuing research in not just sciences but also in social science subjects. So this is something which is also happening. The fifth and the interesting thing that I saw was that there is probably, they are going to and try to set up an Indian Institute of Translation and Interpretation, which is going to deal with languages like Pali, Prakrit and Sanskrit. And this is basically it's getting done because they want to promote regional languages, which of course is something which is very new. The last thing that is happening is that there is going to be an academic bank of credit. So for example, I am doing a 4-year course. So I am going to get my degree and I am going to pass out from that course once I have completed this required number of credits. तो अगर एक कोर्स के लिए मेरे को 12 क्रेडिट्स की ज़रूरत है, तो जब तक मेरी ये क्रेडिट्स अक्यूमुलेट नहीं होते मेरे को अपनी डिग्री नहीं मिल सकती। एक और इंटरेस्टिंग चीज़ जो इसमें हम देख रहे हैं वो ये है कि इंस्टेड ऑफ you being somebody who is being pushed into only taking one kind of subject. For example, I'm somebody who is doing engineering and my major course is going to be engineering or something related to science. With this education policy, I am also going to be allowed to pick a minor subject like political science or something, maybe some other creative or vocational subject as a part of my studies. So I think this was all in terms of higher education. Of national education policy in school level is also very interesting because the entire system of the 10 plus 2 plus 3 education that we've had till now is going to get completely scrapped and it is going to get replaced by a 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4 format, which means that the entire burden of having to choose a subject in class 10th is going to get made a little easier because now you can mix and match between your subjects from class 9th itself. So the rigid discrimination that we've had till now in subjects like humanities, between subjects like humanities and science and commerce is going to get mitigated. So this is very interesting because this means that if I am somebody who has a lot of interest in theoretical physics, then I can just pick up that subject and I can study it, but I can also study political science with it. So there is no longer going to be this rigid discrimination between different fields like science and humanities, but rather you can pick and choose your subjects from the beginning of class 9th itself, and that gives you a lot of time and that shifts the burden and makes it easier. The second important thing that is going to happen with this policy is that the education until by 2030 is going to get universalized. This means that people like who have dropped out of school, who are dropouts, and all the other people who probably couldn't pursue their education are going to be put back into the system. The third and the most important thing that I felt that was going to happen with the ushering in of national education policy is that vocational studies and coding is being made mandatory from class 6th onwards. So this means that if you are trying to make coding mandatory by class 6th, it automatically implies that you want to inculcate the habit of thinking logically. तो जो बरसों पुराना तरीका था कि किसने ज़्यादा books पढ़ी हैं, that is going to get replaced by the idea of conceptually understanding things and understanding concepts, which is going to be given more importance in this policy. So this also implies that the way we've had board exams till now, which required us to remember a large number of books and reproduce that information in the shortest amount of time. In simple words, जो हम रटने का तरीका करते थे और रटने के तरीके से हम पढ़ाई को अप्रोच करते थे, वो scrap out हो रहा है, and that is going to get replaced by a more logical and conceptual approach to giving your papers, and this is going to get inculcated because coding is being mandatory from class 6th, and with that so are vocational studies getting mandatory. So this is basically going to lead to an increased flexibility, and the development is going to be more holistic for children. The next and the most important thing that is going to happen is that till grade 5, the medium of instruction in which you are going to get taught is going to be your mother tongue. So, and this can also continue till grade 8 in certain cases, but class 5th tak to jo medium of instruction hai, that is going to be your mother tongue. So this is interesting. A new national assessment center called Parhag is being set up, which is going to become a standard assessment body. Also, a national mission on foundational literacy and numeracy is being ushered, which means that by grade 3, by 2025 and by grade 3, most of the people, most of the children should be in a position to be literate numerically. मतलब जो फाउंडेशनल न्यूमरेसी है, बेसिक अर्थमेटिक है, वो ग्रेड 3 तक सबको आनी चाहिए, एंड दिस इज समथिंग व्हिच इज गोइंग टू बी अ फोकस ऑफ द नेशनल एजुकेशन पॉलिसी, एंड दिस दे आर ट्राइंग टू डू बाय 2025. There is also going to be a gender inclusion fund and a special education zone, which is mostly going to be about trying to promote inclusivity. So the biggest takeaways from the national education policy, when I talk about in terms of your school life, is going to be that coding and vocational studies are going to be made mandatory from class 6th, and this means that the emphasis that has been laid till now on remembering and रटने वाली जो चीज़ होती है अपनी NCERT वाली बुक्स बोर्ड्स के लिए, वो emphasis बिल्कुल हट जाएगा, and instead of that the thinking logically and understanding concepts logically is going to be more important. Also, your board exams are going to be made easier, and the medium of instruction is going to be till class 5th, which is going to be your mother tongue. So this is something which is getting introduced with this national education policy, and the major takeaways when we talk about the national education policy in terms of your university and college life is obviously going to be A, MPhil is getting scrapped, B, your 4-year programs are getting ushered in if you want to go into it from an academic orientation. This means that I've already explained, but this means that you can get a degree in 3 years, but you can also get a degree in 4 years if you want to pursue things from an academic research orientation. The third thing that is going to happen is that a national research foundation is going to be set up, which is going to deal with funding for your research projects. So there is going to be a new push towards research orientation, which is nice, especially in social sciences. So that's good. And the next thing that is going to happen is that there is going to be an umbrella organization called HECI, and all the other ones are going to get replaced, and this is going to be the main umbrella organization under which things are going to work from now on. So these were some of the important takeaways from the national education policy, and I hope you guys liked the video, and that's it. Thank you.